Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on this cloudy and cool Tuesday, kind of the last not so nice day for a little while. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and start things out by, yes, taking a look at some of those clouds that are overhead here in the Denver area. We do have, again, a fair bit of cloud cover for the day today that will produce the chance for some snow mixed with some perhaps sleet, some gropple, some rain. I'll explain all that here in the next couple of minutes. But the overview is that, yes, once we get past today, the sun will return tomorrow, and with it, much warmer temperatures. And as you see there at the bottom, yeah, wait till you see the weekend. You are probably going to love it. I know weather's subjective, so some of us probably wanted a big snowstorm. We didn't, of course, get one here in Denver, though. Some parts of the Eastern Plains, Vona, checking in with 15 inches of snow from our most recent snow event. But now this is, again, most of us probably ready to melt off some of that snow. We've had a fair bit of it since the start of the year, and could be adding a bit more to that later on this afternoon. Have a very weak system dropping in from the north that is pushing in a little bit of moisture, a very moisture-starved system. But the thing is for us here in the Denver area, as you look at that snow shower out by DIA, we have a lot of fairly mild air at the surface, generally above freezing right now in the Denver area. You couple that with some very cold air above us aloft, and it's kind of a perfect recipe for a gropple later on this afternoon. It's kind of that slushy, ice pellet-like sort of sleet that falls. It's kind of those soft ice pellets. I'll have more on that here in the next few minutes, though. 30s and 40s for us in the Eastern Plains, so that tells us that any snow that falls is not going to stick. You couple that with the high March sun angle, and any snow that falls here on the Eastern Plains is not going to stick. So we're not expecting any accumulation, no impacts to the roads. Go about your business today. You're going to be A-OK in terms of the roadways, even though we do have the chance for a few flurries later on this afternoon. Mountains, though, 20s and 30s. So yes, we do have some of those snow showers. Those could, in some cases, now these, the mechanism that's leading to some of the snow shower activity, it's the same kind of mechanism that leads to thunderstorms in the summer. If you're a bit of a weather nerd, these would be convective snow showers. And what I mean by that is you get a lot of this kind of rapid, unstable air that rapidly rises. And when you get that, you can get these kind of almost quick little bursts of snow. So just worth keeping in mind, we could see a burst of snow that could briefly put down a dusting in a few spots. But again, with those temperatures above freezing, fairly warm ground, I don't think we're going to see any accumulation or road impacts in most cases. So just worth noting that you could see a quick burst of snow. Don't be surprised if you see that, but for most of us, the impacts are going to be really, really low from this if we see any snow at all. Now, you might notice some of that pink and some of that green mixed in there. There is the chance again for some ice pellets, even a few raindrops makes their way in the picture. Again, it is above freezing at the surface, and then this all clears out of here. But by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be sunny in most cases, and it'll be sunny through the day tomorrow. So enjoy the nice weather for your day tomorrow. Today is the last day we've got this kind of prolonged, kind of cloudy Seattle-like weather. But today, again, we have that chance for gropple. And since I've been talking about that for the last little while, gropple is basically when you get a snowflake and then you get kind of little rings of ice around it. So as the snowflake first forms in the sky, kind of the highest levels of the clouds, it starts to fall, and as it does so, it gets a little bit warmer, and then you get some of that rain, some of that water that eventually turns to ice, and so you get these kind of almost little mushy, little ice pellet-like substances at the surface. So think about Dippin' Dots ice cream. It's that same kind of texture is what it ends up being at the surface. A lot of us have seen it, and here in Colorado, we're fairly prone to getting gropple, so that's what I think we're going to end up seeing later on this afternoon and perhaps early tonight. Now, temperatures tonight drop back into the 20s and 30s across most of eastern Colorado, teens and 20s for the Eastern Plains. And speaking of tomorrow, much warmer, 55 degrees, beautiful weather, northwest winds, still a little bit gusty, especially in the morning at 10 to 20 miles an hour, but those winds should back on off as we head through the day. And a few spots maybe even getting close to 60 degrees for your day tomorrow. That fresh snowpack out on the Eastern Plains, a bit colder for Lyman and Burlington, upper 40s, and then 30s and 40s in the mountains, close to bluebird weather. And if you don't get bluebird weather tomorrow, you'll definitely have it later on this week, with those temperatures rising into the 60s by your Thursday and your Friday, and the 70s by this upcoming weekend. That is going to be just marvelous. And then early next week, we get some showers, and you know, the thing I keep saying all the time is enjoy the 60s and the 70s while we've got them, because when it's 60 or 70 in March, That is usually an indicator that we got some pretty turbulent weather right behind it. But in the meantime, we'll focus on that next week, because this week looks pretty nice once we get past today. Again, that chance for some low impact rain, snow, Gropple pellets to impact us here in the Denver area. And then, by the way, the mountains could get an inch or two of snow. And then we clear things on out and got a beautiful run of weather after that. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Weather. I'll also have more details and more nerdy explanations coming up on 9 News at noon. And then Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin will have your full forecast coming up at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 on the 9 News family of networks later on this evening. Have a good day, and we'll see you back here on 9 News at noon.